Discussions on the role and powers of the Electricity Minister, Dr. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa, are expected to dominate the ANC's national executive meeting over this weekend. The powers of the new minister have not yet been clearly defined, but there are concerns that he may take away certain roles and responsibilities that currently reside with the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy and the Public Enterprises Ministry. The NEC meeting is also expected to discuss Dr. Ramokgopa's new energy plan. The proposal has already been taken to Cabinet and the ANC National Working Committee for consideration. The four-day ANC National Executive Committee conference entering its second day today. And of course, we'll deal with a number of issues affecting the country. The gathering, as I indicated, will also use the opportunity to refine some of the resolutions taken by the 55th National Conference in December. As I earlier indicated, discussions also on the role and powers of the Electricity Minister, Dr. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa, are expected to dominate that NEC. SABC political reporter Samkele Maseko is on that story for us. Let's go live to him now. Samkele, a very good morning to you indeed. So I want to talk to you first about what's been dominating the headlines. And, first of all, has the NEC adopted this new energy plan by Dr. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa?
Crisalda, what is transpired is that the Minister of Electricity, ANC NEC member Dr. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa yesterday presented an energy plan which was originally presented in the ANC's National Working Committee meeting, which was in Limpopo, and subsequently he presented yesterday to the NEC meeting just before lunch. They were deliberating on the various policy proposals. You remember that Dr. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa said that in order for Eskom to perform at its maximum and to make sure that there is energy availability factor within the country when it comes to the coal-powered fleet, all 84 generating units of the power utility need to have a focal point and be focused on those 84 coal-powered units of the power utility Eskom. So he presented his plan yesterday. It was deliberated upon. Later on this morning, he will be briefing us as to, with regards what the ANC NEC resolved upon when it comes to his energy plan, in making sure that he tries to eradicate and to end load shedding before the end of the year or before the 2024 national elections. Essentially, the ANC is wanting to end this specific problem of load shedding in the country, and Dr. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa is at the center of that particular mission. But it is being stalled by those territorial wars in Cabinet through Minister Kgosientsho of Mineral Resources and Energy and the Minister of Public Enterprises, Pravin Gordhan, with the roles and powers of the minister still yet to be defined and characterized for him to be able to do his job.
Samkele, I saw quite a number of reports speaking to exactly what you're talking about. From what you can see, are there clear territorial wars between the different ministers, Pravin Gordhan, the new electricity minister, as well as Kgosientsho, given that these roles have not yet been clearly defined, and perhaps also a fear that there may be certain key roles and responsibilities that might be removed from one minister and given to another? Is that what we're seeing at the moment?
Crisalda, Kgosientsho always says and alludes that he does not want to be at the center of power, but he always wants to influence power. And when it comes to the issues pertaining to Eskom and fossil fuels within the country, he's perceived as a fossil fuel dinosaur in the virtue that he says that coal is going nowhere. Just a day ago, in fact yesterday, our own colleague Kgosientsho was covering Minister Kgosientsho in Mpumalanga when he was opening a new coal shaft. He said that coal is here to stay. So it's not only territorial wars that are there in Cabinet, but also it's a war between those whom are pushing for cleaner, renewable energy, the likes of Barbara Creasy, the Minister of Environment, and also ANC NEC member. Then you've got Kgosientsho with the bloc of Mpumalanga and other provinces such as Limpopo and KwaZulu-Natal, whom are saying you can't just dump coal. If you dump coal, you will essentially have what you have in areas such as Carltonville in Gauteng, which have become ghost towns due to mining no longer being at the center of those specific towns. Saying if you were to just dump coal, you go to Woodbank in Mpumalanga, the coal belt, you will just be creating ghost towns. So they've got to be a just transition. Now the debate then becomes, how just is this just transition? And knowing that South Africa is still a developing country, it cannot have its policy and energy trajectory being determined and forcefully changed by developed nations such as those whom are perceived to be the West. And you've got other countries, particularly BRICS nations. In South Africa alone, last year, you had 60 million tons of coal being exported out of the Richards Bay coal terminal abroad, which brings about the question that the likes of Gwede Mantashe and other ANC NEC members are raising, with Dr. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa also saying that you've got to extend the lifespan of certain coal-powered stations, which are set to be decommissioned in 2025 and others in 2030. Saying that you've got to also bring in the private sector, with the private sector going to be able to run this old coal-powered fleet that Eskom is decommissioning and can no longer use because it becomes too expensive to run some of these coal-powered stations. So essentially, he's saying that the private sector must also be brought on board to run the coal-powered fleet of Eskom that is aging.
While, of course, that NEC will be dealing with the energy woes, that will certainly be key. What else are we looking at to come through in that briefing by the ANC leadership? We're also looking that David Makhura, the ANC's NEC member, will be leading the charge in the coalition plan for the governing party, the blueprint that they will use in negotiating coalition governments across the country. That's going to be tabled later on today, where he will speak extensively on this particular matter. We also do know that he will be alongside ANC veteran Mac Maharaj in presenting that particular proposal. There will also be receiving a number of reports by the Integrity Commission. They will also be delving into the international balance of forces on Sunday, which will be led by the ANC's first Deputy General Secretary, Nomvula Mokonyane, which will also encompass the upcoming BRICS summit later on this year in August, which South Africa will be hosting. In fact, the press briefing is about to start. The people of our ETC head, Mamloko Kubai, and the minister, the dancing minister of electricity, has also arrived. I wonder whether he's dancing these days with load shedding varying from stage 6 to stage 3. Just yesterday, Eskom said that we are on stage 3. We're going to have to hand over to the start of the briefing, Criselda. Samkele, thank you very much indeed. We're going to stay on that in just a moment.
You want to dance?
The leadership of the ANC. Samkele, let's go back to him quickly.
Let me just grab the minister quickly, just to steal him before the press briefing starts. I know Mahlengi is going to want to throttle me, but Minister, load shedding reduced. What are some of the key factors in your plan of those 84 coal-powered units that you are trying to fix?
Well, that's the purpose of the briefing, just to take you at length on what the NEC is agreeing on. So if you give us the opportunity, we'll be able to expand more.
I'm told they wanted to eat you alive yesterday with load shedding escalating.
No, they can't. They know the nature of the problem. So we'll address it now.
Well, I'm being disciplined now, Criselda. We'll have to hand over to the start of the briefing.